everybody. Welcome to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. Glad to have you with us this week for our 261st episode of the show. And we got a great show in store. And we're going to be talking about the sesquicentennial of Reno, the 150th anniversary. So stay tuned. We got a lot of activities we want to tell you about right after this.
Hi, I'm Hugh Roy Marshall from the Marshall Mint, Virginia City and Reno, Nevada. Come to introduce you to the Let 'em Run Wild Horse Mustang series, which depicts the Wild Mustangs herd running free, mare in its foal, the Wild Mustangs fighting for love. These ingots are a limited edition double-struck product on 1 troy ounce 3-pine silver and are only available at the Marshall Mint, Virginia City or Reno, Nevada. Get your piece of history today.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988, so ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle, we're the biker's bike shop.
Welcome, everybody, to Old Tales of Nevada. I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show, and glad to have you with us this week. We have with us our special guest, Carol Coleman, who's got a lot of titles and a lot of responsibilities in the city, and we appreciate having her with us today. So welcome, Carol. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to be with us.
Thank you.
All right. We do the show. We always do the show each week with a new guest as much as possible. And what our mission is to bring history out front for the people of Northern Nevada. And we've done 261 episodes, I think. It might be 262. I can't remember. But we've had a great time talking about the different stories that have happened here in Northern Nevada and different things, events, the different people that we've had on the show. And Hugh Roy Marshall is our benefactor. He's the one that supplies us the resources to do the show. And he's up on the Comstock today working some of his claims up there, gold and silver. And, we can't keep him away from that sometimes. But he has a great interest in history. And our mission here is to continue to do that. And what's really great right now is this 150th anniversary of Reno, the sesquicentennial, which is going to bring a lot of different stories right up front and to the people of Reno, so they can really find out where they live.
Absolutely.
And the reason why they should have pride in living in Reno.
Absolutely, yes.
I think you, like me, came from a different part of the country, right?
Yes, I had to learn it when I got here.
Yeah, where are you from originally?
Well, I was born in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
I moved.
Where's the accent there, Carol?
Lost it, or never had it.
Never had it. Were you there long or what?
Actually, I lived there until I was 6.
Okay.
But it was Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, a little bit of Maine.
Wow.
And
beautiful
then
country.
My mother remarried, and we began this vagabond existence in a way. We went to Arizona. Mm-hmm. So I would be in Arizona from October through April.
Wow.
And
good time
then
to be down there, I
we'd
guess.
get in the car, an old car by today's standards, and drive back across the country to Vermont.
Isn't that something?
Where they ran what you would call a B&B.
Okay, B&B.
And
wonderful.
Every morning my dad went up the mountain and caught trout.
Okay.
Always available.
Yeah, the real outdoors life.
Didn't even need bait to get it. It was so plentiful.
Wonderful. Did you cut wood and all that kind of thing?
No, but it was a pretty basic stove. That's for sure.
Yeah, go out and hunt deer and whatever else they had over there, huh?
And in Vermont, I went to a one-room schoolhouse. I started school there every year.
No kidding, a one-room schoolhouse.
One-room schoolhouse.
So everybody from kindergarten to high school graduation.
Right.
Huh?
There were actually to 8th grade.
8th grade.
Once you got past 8th, you had to go to the community school.
No kidding, really.
Right.
You must have been a very rural part of Vermont.
Very northeast quadrant.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So what did you have, like a farm or something?
No,
Raised chickens,
we lived in the 1821 house.
Wow.
Built in 1821.
Isn't that something?
And it was basically a summer house.
Wow.
And there was
That's
a lot of that in Vermont in that era.
Yeah, well, I'm a Jersey boy, and we had a library from the 1600s, something like that.
Yes.
Right in the middle of town. It was an old
Right.
structure made of granite, I guess, and they turned it into the city library. But we find those kinds of structures
Absolutely.
everywhere back east.
They don't get rid of anything.
They don't tear it down. They don't get rid of it. They preserve it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that has kind of transferred now out towards the west. As we think about Reno, they have these preservation societies. In fact, you've been a big part of that, and we'll talk
Yes.
about that as we go forward. But so you grew up, you went to Arizona for a time, back and forth from there, and then did you wind up in Reno after that, or how did you get to Reno?
Well, I chose a college that would be halfway between where my parents were in Arizona and where other relatives were in Vermont.
Okay, so
I
where was
took
that?
out the old compass and said middle, and I won't have to go home very often.
Yeah, so what school did you go to?
I went to Northern Colorado.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
It was then a teacher's college.
All right.
It's now Northern Colorado University.
Okay.
And I went there for a year, and then I got married. Mm-hmm. Then I went to Denver University for a little over a year.
So were you a teacher then in your career?
My intent was to teach, but I was going to teach high school math.
Oh, okay. That's what you were saying. Math was your major.
That was my major.
Not history, math.
No,
right.
no, I wasn't very good at history, I have to say. And in the course of 15 years, I went to 3 universities, had 3 kids, lived in 3 states.
Wow.
In 17 houses.
17.
And I can't tell you how many jobs, but after 15 years, I had a bachelor's degree in math, and I was ready to get a master's in teaching.
Okay.
And money just wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took a short-term job as a computer tech. Computers were just becoming the thing.
Yeah, and that probably a natural transition for you.
Well,
I
with a
suppose.
math degree, they were delighted to have.
Sure.
So very soon I became a programmer, and although the titles didn't change, I basically was an analyst.
Analyst, okay.
And my 1 year turned into 27 years.
Wow. What company was that?
That was Department of Energy's Lawrence Livermore National Lab at that point. It's
okay.
now Lawrence Livermore National Security.
Okay, yeah, that's where they developed part of the bomb, didn't they? The atomic bomb came
Yes.
out of that lab. So
Right.
that's pretty historical in itself.
Yes.
So what brought you to Reno?
We wanted to retire from California.
Uh-huh.
We'd been there 31 years. We wanted a little slower lifestyle. We wanted to get to a mountain. We wanted close access to Home Depot, the airport, the hospital, and Costco.
Okay. The Home Depot for your husband,
Well,
us guys.
no, I'm not.
Oh, you too? Oh, okay.
Engineers want to be near Home Depot also.
One of my favorite places is Home Depot, and then Lowe's after that, right? So you made the big move. So where'd you wind up first? Up an incline somewhere?
Actually, we looked south, and we were in incline, and we came over 431.
Okay.
And kind of got stuck on 431. Found a place. We
Yeah.
looked for a half a day.
All right.
And found a place and signed the papers.
Very good. Very
And-
good. So you still live there in the same place?
Absolutely.
No kidding. Great.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Reno? Why Reno? I mean, there's a lot of places with mountains that you could have found, but what was the draw for Reno?
Taxes.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Nothing romantic. Taxes.
Yeah. So once you got here, it must have been an eye-opener to you, because a lot of people stereotype Reno and northern Nevada with certain things. Like when I came down from Montana, I'm thinking Reno, casinos, divorce, that kind of thing.
We did think it would be a casino town, but we were going to do mountains, hiking, skiing.
So you did all that.
Besides that, we had a whole lot of plans for what we do in retirement. I've only done one of them, which was I spent a year reading books.
Okay. Yeah. Well, in fact, as you were telling me, that's the way you found out a lot about Reno
Absolutely.
as you dove into some of the great books that have been
Absolutely.
made and found them a great help for you.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't book readers, though, you know.
Yes.
And so they come to town, as I did in '86, and was rather naive about the history of Northern Nevada. And it wasn't until 7 or 8 years ago, actually, that I started to focus a lot on the history of Reno because of the show.
Yeah.
And I'm just amazed about the
Yes.
people, the places, the things, the events that happen here
Yes.
in Northern Nevada.
Actually, I didn't read first. I had a neighbor knock on the door and said, "Do you know about newcomers?" And I didn't. I joined. I was in for about a year, and they asked me to chair a group called Learn About Nevada.
Okay.
And I thought, well, if I'm going to chair it, I have to learn more.
Yeah, really. You have to become sort of an expert
So
anyway.
I started on the Harps walking tours, Historic Reno Preservation Society's walking tours.
Okay.
And I joined. That was 2000.
Right.
And the next year, I went to the Nevada Historical Society's docent training and took that.
Yeah.
And the rest is kind of history because I'm still involved with all of those organizations.
Wonderful.
Doing all of those things.
So it was kind of an evolution, a slow,
Absolutely.
gradual evolution into the history of
Absolutely.
Northern Nevada. And now you're really absorbed in it to the point where you've written books and
Well, one.
one book.
One book.
But you're associating with a lot of folks
Yes.
that have a tremendous interest in history and the preservation of history, both in the
Yes.
structural side and in the personal side
Yes,
as well.
and advocating for places that are in difficulty.
Oh, you must feel really good about this effort for the 150th, and the sesquicentennial must be kind of close to your heart by this
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
been talking about May 9th, 1868 for a long time.
Yeah,
That's the start date.
time. Yeah.
That was the date that the railroad put out a auction announcement and sold off lots.
Yeah, and that was Mr. Lake, right? Who?
Well, it was actually the
railroad
railroad is the one that did the auction, but Mr. Lake's land is what was auctioned off.
Oh, okay.
He sold it,
Oh, he sold it to
the railroad.
railroad, and the railroad then sold
Auctioned it off.
But Lake became very, very wealthy
Yes.
because of his bridge and because of that sale. He's known as one of the most richest men in the United States at that time, if not.
He maybe
The
was
world.
also one of the meanest.
Yes, that's right. We've been hearing a lot about
Yes.
that. Yeah, we did a tour of the Lake Mansion, and we had a great time over there, and we learned a lot about Mr. Lake and his travails with women and everything else. But a very good businessman for that. All right. So listen, we're going to come back and we're going to get into your book that you wrote, and then how you learned about Reno and about the 150th and the activities that are available to everybody to take part in for the next year leading up to May 2000, whatever heck are we, 2018.
Whatever year this is.
We'll be right back with more Old Tales in Nevada after this. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop and Visitor Center at the Reno Town Mall is the place to buy local Nevada-owned products. There is over 4,000 square feet of unique items to choose from. Art, jewelry, books, music, inventions, clothing, candy, pottery, toys, even Nevada-made wine and more. Why, you can even purchase a gift basket full of Nevada-owned products. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop located at the Reno Town Mall, 4001 Virginia Street in Reno. Buy local first.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
Boutique Elegante presents a beautiful collection of summer fashions for every occasion. A day at the lake, a tropical holiday, patio parties, or special dinners. You'll find the perfect ensemble, add jewelry and accessories, and you're set to go. All at Boutique Elegante.
Somewhere in Time is the place to find what will be treasured for all time. A store full of the unexpected, with a large selection of beer and sports memorabilia, vintage toys, casino and brothel memorabilia, vent and glassware, Disney collectibles, historic comic books, jewelry, a great selection of vintage neon, new and enlarged collections throughout the store. Have fun with the whole family. Check out all the inventory in the store. Find the unexpected that will be treasured for all time at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia in Reno.
Boutique Elegante presents a beautiful collection of summer fashions for every occasion. A day at the lake, a tropical holiday, patio parties, or special dinners. You'll find the perfect ensemble, add jewelry and accessories, and you're set to go. All at Boutique Elegante.
We're back here in Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We're talking with Carol Coleman, who, like I said in the beginning, has a lot of titles and does a lot of work on the historical side of preservation here in Reno. In fact, she's the president of HARPS. And
Yes.
how long have you been president of HARPS?
Just a little over a year.
A little over a year. And what great work they do in preserving structures here in town, right?
Yes, advocacy is a big part of it, but
Yeah.
also educating people is a big part of it.
Super duper. And you're also immediate past president of the Docent Council at the Nevada Historical Society.
Yes.
So that's history 101
Yes,
right there.
that's right.
In fact, our show is archived over there.
Great.
So we really appreciate that opportunity. And then you're the author of the book called Early Reno.
Yes, this is Images of America book.
Yeah, is that one of those Arcadia books?
Yes.
Yeah, and they're all the same number of pages.
There are 128 pages, between 3 and 12 chapters, no more than 18,000 words,
Wow.
and at least 180 historical pictures.
Isn't that amazing? And you'll find those, in all of the cities of...
You can find it at the bookstores in town.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can find it at Costco.
Costco, Barnes & Noble, I suppose,
Absolutely.
has the Arcadia books. Yeah.
Sundance,
Yeah.
Grassroots.
Super.
Walgreens even has
Walgreens,
it.
all right. Very good. Hey, we want to remind everybody, before I go too far, that our show has a lot of great sponsors. Our two major sponsors are the Marshall Mint, and there right now they have this beautiful new ingot, and it's portrays the wild mustangs.
Wow.
And they're beautifully done, and you can buy it by the set. You can buy a single ingot if you want, and they are taking some of the proceeds and giving it to the preservation of the wild mustangs. So
Great.
they have different sanctuaries for the mustangs, and they have to support those sanctuaries. And so some of that money that they're getting from the sale of the ingot goes towards that effort. So that's tremendous. And then they also have the Silverland Inn and Suites up there.
Yes.
In Virginia City, and that's a beautiful hotel.
Yeah,
it really
that's
is.
so neat.
And if you get on the side where you're overlooking to the east, there's about a 125-mile view from there.
Beautiful.
So I always told my wife we should go up there, get some mimosas, and sit out there and watch the sun come up from the east. What a
Yes.
gorgeous view that would be. Anyway, those are some of our great sponsors. We also have Schumann's Custom Cycle. We've got Somewhere in Time, Antique Stores, Boutique Elegante. The list goes on and on. And they all support history as well. So anyway, as we left, we were talking about the way you learned about Reno and the books that you read. Who were some of the notable authors that would be good to research with as far as learning about the history of Reno, especially with our 150th anniversary here?
Okay. I'm not going to say I read these when I first got here.
Okay.
Since I wrote this after I got here. So I, of course, am going to recommend the book that David Kennedy and I wrote.
Okay.
This is copyright the Docents of the Nevada Historical Society.
Okay.
I wrote the text and did the layout, and David did all the scanning and locating pictures.
Oh, that must
but
be a
this,
great book.
This is 1868 to 1930.
Oh, super.
So this gives you an idea of the divorce industry,
Yeah.
how gambling became gaming. This talks about what a nice town Reno was and some of the churches and the homes.
Oh, okay.
How did Reno grow?
Yeah.
at the same time, and we did these kind of as a pair.
Okay.
Washoe County is another book that was done at just about the same time. And if you think of it as a donut, Reno was the inside and Washoe County was the outside of the donut. Talks about ranches and what farming was like. A lot about earlier times than this book even talks about. And then a current one, and the early Reno book and this book, the proceeds from, which are not really great. Since Arcadia does everything for you, you basically write it and let it go and
see what happens. You get a little bit, but not much. They get most of it.
You might get $1 a book.
Oh, really? Wow.
So this one is Reno's heyday, 1931 to 1991, and it talks about the growth of downtown Reno.
Oh, very interesting.
Over that time.
Yeah, that's where it all started, right there.
So those are relatively easy reads. You can get through them in a 4 hours, say. I would say a fourth grader might be able to read that.
Yeah. Is it the kind of thing you open up and start reading and then you just get involved in?
You can read it.
You can read it all the way through.
Yes.
Yeah, that's super. That's the kind of books I like.
We have a realtor that comes in and buys them by the 50, and he gives them to customers. He likes old Reno so well.
Yeah, that's great.
Now, if you want a more comprehensive view, this book was written by Alicia Barber.
We know her well.
And it covers that same history, but it gives you more of the why.
Okay.
Very good book to read if you want more information. I'm going to go to this one. This is Reno Now and Then.
Yeah, Neil
2.
Cobb.
So Neil and Jerry put together a book that is basically pictures with text. I didn't pick a very good one, did I? Okay. So pictures with text, with the picture being the current scene, and the one on the right being what it was 60, 80 years ago.
That is so interesting.
So that can get you a lot of what was here when.
Yeah. And
at the very back, I would mention that there is a section. Of course, I can't flip right to it. Actually, I think it's in Reno Now and Then 1.
Okay.
About the arches.
Oh.
And it's a really good description of what arches from 3 frameworks, but actually 7 different arches have appeared on those 3 frameworks. Of course, it tells you that the first arch is now on Lake Street. The second arch is now in Willits.
Oh, it is?
It's the entrance to the Redwoods.
Oh, okay.
So if you go up 101, you have encountered the arch. They had to expand it.
Yeah.
But it's on 101, and it says Willits. I think I have it right. Entrance to the Redwoods. Yeah. Perhaps it's this way. But
was that Mr. Harold from the Harold's Club who put that first arch up there in Reno? Was that him, or was that somebody?
No.
I wonder whose idea that was. That's a question I don't know the answer to.
I don't think I know the answer.
Yeah.
But, oh no, let me tell. I do know the answer to that. The very first arch was from the Transcontinental Highway Exposition.
Oh.
It was put up in 1926. The exposition was held at Idlewild in 27. In fact, Idlewild was sort of created in order to have this exposition.
Okay.
The California building that's there was built by the state of California.
Oh, okay.
The Nevada State Building was built where the Pioneer Theater is now.
Oh, okay.
And it was about a year-long exposition celebrating the completion of the Lincoln and Victory highways through from Nevada into California.
Right. Lincoln Highway right down 4th Street.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely.
Well, there we go. See that? Your research has paid off.
I can answer a question.
That's right. So, what a great start if you want to become involved in the 150 years of Reno is to start by reading these books. I can see doing that either personally or doing it with the family. Because young people today, in a lot of families, they don't have a lot of history.
Absolutely.
Whether it's U.S.
Yes.
history, world history, or Reno history. So this would be a nice way to introduce them to the importance of history
Yes.
in many ways. So glad you brought those with you. Now, your work as president of HARPS is a real interesting work because you go out and find these older structures, whether are they all residential structures you tend to work on, or are they the business side as well, commercial side?
Depends on what you're asking about. If I'm looking, or if HARPS is looking at endangered properties, and we have a list of perhaps 15, 18 endangered properties in town.
Okay.
Those can be businesses as well as homes.
Okay. Now, are they mansions that you are looking at to preserve, the real important type of building, or would you go down to the Pounding subdivision and find a bungalow that you want to take care of? Does it have to have a certain level of importance?
When it's a home, now let's say it was the Lake Mansion. Definitely, if that structure was threatened, that would be on our list.
Okay.
The home on Mayberry that we call the Collin Ranch House.
Okay.
Question about the development of that. That is on our list.
Oh, it is? Okay.
But on Center Street, between 8th and 9th, the university wanted to remove those homes to build a business building. Now they have agreed they would move them. We're trying to encourage that they leave them and that they have plenty of land to build around.
Build around it, yeah. So you jump right in there.
That's 7 homes. And they are unique because they are the oldest Queen Anne's in a cluster in town.
No kidding.
And so you'd like to save them. They're part of the unique entrance to the university that goes up into the Balmoral Hall, built in the 1870s.
So do you have scouts out there,
People
for
do.
lack of a better word, that brings these kinds of things to your attention so that you can jump in there? And do you have to jump in there with attorneys, or do you have to, just first of all have a nice conversation?
We have a nice conversation. We don't have any attorneys in particular that work. We don't pay anybody to be an attorney.
Oh, okay.
We don't have an attorney on our board.
Okay. So there's nobody there that would say, okay, before you tear this thing down, we're going to go to court and try to find an injunction to hold this thing back until we can discuss it a little bit further so that we can maintain that history.
We might just be more noisy.
Okay. Walk out there with signs.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay.
We are a nonprofit and totally volunteer.
All right.
So we don't have any professionals.
All right. Let's come back for more information about HARPS and some of the activities you've provided for folks for the 150th right after our commercial break.
Boutique Elegante presents a beautiful collection of summer fashions for every occasion. A day at the lake, a tropical holiday, patio parties, or special dinners. You'll find the perfect ensemble, add jewelry and accessories, and you're set to go. All at Boutique Elegante.
Somewhere in Time is the place to find what will be treasured for all time. A store full of the unexpected, with a large selection of beer and sports memorabilia, vintage toys, casino and brothel memorabilia, vent and glassware, Disney collectibles, historic comic books, jewelry, a great selection of vintage neon, new and enlarged collections throughout the store. Have fun with the whole family. Check out all the inventory in the store. Find the unexpected that will be treasured for all time at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia in Reno.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle, we're the biker's bike shop.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
Hi, I'm Hugh Roy Marshall from the Marshall Men, Virginia City and Reno, Nevada. Come to introduce you to the Let 'em Run Wild Horse Mustang Series. Wish to picks the Wild Mustangs herd running free, mare in its foal, the Wild Mustangs fighting for love. These ingots are a limited edition double-struck product on 1 troy ounce 3-pine silver and are only available at the Marshall Mint, Virginia City, or Reno, Nevada. Get your piece of history today.
Boutique Elegante presents a beautiful collection of summer fashions for every occasion. A day at the lake, a tropical holiday, patio parties, or special dinners. You'll find the perfect ensemble, add jewelry and accessories, and you're set to go. All at Boutique Elegante.
Welcome back to Old Tales of Nevada, Past and Present. We're talking with Carol Coleman, who is currently the president of HARPS, but involved with a lot of historical efforts here in town, a source of great knowledge, as we just learned from our last segment, talking about the arches here in Reno. But as we left our segment, we were talking about the saving of or the rehabilitation of different structures in town, and I was asking about those ones up by the university, and I said, do you ever go to court to stop an entity from tearing down something of historical significance? And you said no, you don't have an attorney on staff, you have some volunteers. But the reason I asked that was because of the situation with the Mapes. A lot of people wanted to save that because of historical importance of that structure, and yet it was torn down. And I was wondering if there was any effort to go to court to provide an injunction so that there could be more thought given to that structure.
Well, there was a group very interested in saving, and HARPS, Historic Reno Preservation Society, was very much involved in that. That was kind of the first big item on our agenda, as we are 20 years old, and the Mapes went down.
Right there.
Yes. So, yes, a member of HARPS was the attorney that actually went to court for that.
And to no avail.
Well, we stood up for our ideas.
Yeah, so you at least did that much.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
Yes.
But I think over time, since that time, people have become more compassionate and empathetic towards saving these important structures.
Yes, I think so.
They'll try to work around some of the problems with the structures.
There were a lot of people involved in trying to save the bridge.
Yeah.
And you may be familiar with the so far successful attempt to keep Hillside Cemetery from being disinterred.
Oh.
And that was not so much that we went to court, but we went to the legislature.
Oh, okay.
So we had quite a representation, as did a group that's actually a nonprofit for Save Hillside Cemetery. So there were a number of people down at the legislature petitioning. They were with the assembly. They were with every day they were there.
That's super.
And a law was passed which saves historic cemeteries in general. No owner can declare them, I'm trying to think what the term is.
Obsolete.
Yes, they can no longer say that they're in terrible shape and we aren't keeping them anymore.
Yeah.
It has to be city council, it has to be the county commission.
Yeah. They have to go through hoops.
Yes.
I'm thinking like Virginia City, that cemetery up there.
Absolutely.
Such a rich history up there.
And this would say that law would also save
that.
Yeah. Yes.
Although up there they seem to cherish that piece of land, because there were mines all around that, tunnels and everything else, but they tend to keep that in pretty good shape. So that is a fabulous effort that you're making there with your group. And how many members are in that group?
We've got about 800 members.
800 members. That's
Yes.
wonderful. A lot of help there. Yeah, a lot of passion. That's great.
They like to attend things. Yes. They like other people to present things like walks and talks and tours and things like that.
That was my next question for you guys. You have done a great work in providing walking tours, and I was thinking of the 150th and these walking tours. If you want to really learn about history, it's nothing better than going right down to the corner where that thing happened or that structure used to be, and you guys tell the story about the whole thing, you know.
And we've just finished walks for this summer. We have 4 more in September. They'll be on Saturday mornings.
Okay.
The first 3 Saturday mornings in September, and there is a bike tour on Sunday. I think it's the 11th.
Okay. Now, where do you take folks? Tell me some of the more popular
Well, one of them
routes.
is actually called a literary tour of Reno. So it takes you with authors that you might know and takes them to locations where they wrote or what they wrote about.
Okay.
One is in the Newlands area. It's the Newlands Heights Walk.
Beautiful neighborhood over there.
We have 40 unique walks, and we usually do them all in the summer months: May, June, July, and September.
Okay. Now, are they long walks? Are you talking about a mile, or do you start?
It might be a half a mile to a mile. Some might actually be 2 miles.
Okay.
If what you want to do is get out to exercise, this is not. This is not what our walks are. Our walks are walk here, stop, listen, look.
Okay.
Then walk here, stop, listen, and look.
Okay. So do you go to like some of the mansions in town? Like the Lake Mansion, of course, is pretty well known. What are some of the other mansions that you
We have
would
a walk
on tour?
along California, which is called Mansions on the Bluff.
Okay.
And so it goes all along California from Arlington out till it's about to drop down to Booth. There's another one that looks at the other side of the mansions, which is Truckee River all the time, and it starts on the other side of the river, talks about the homes on Riverside Drive, and then talks about the ones you see the backs of.
The backside of, and you always wonder who and why, and I always wonder who lived there. You know, so that was kind of like where Millionaires Row up there for Reno for a long time. Do you know some of the notables that used to live there originally, or is that too hard a question?
Well, Newlands,
Mr. Newlands
was up there. Of course,
he was a businessman in town, or oil man, or what?
He was a. Let's see. He handled the finances for some of the railroad people.
Oh, okay.
And became I think, a representative and then a senator.
Okay, yeah, I remember
and
that.
Senator Nixon, his home is up there.
Sure.
You have a number of nice homes up there that are local lawyers and people.
Yeah.
Another area that actually had nice homes was Mill
Street, really?
And most of those are gone now.
Wow, isn't that sad?
And when you look at the Lake Mansion, which today is on Arlington and Court, it was once on South Virginia and California.
Right. Every time I go by that old bank building there, I say, that's where it used to be.
Right. And in the next block is the Levy Mansion, which is now Sundance Books.
Oh, yeah, right.
And if you look at old pictures of the Levy Mansion, it faced 90 degrees the other way.
Yeah, they picked it up and turned it around.
And there was something the sisters didn't want to communicate, so one of them had the whole house turned around.
Yeah. And then there's that white structure. It's right across the street from Deluxe Travel on California. They're working on the front of it right now. And I don't know if that was an apartment building or a business at one time. I had a curiosity about that. I never.
You're thinking it's an apartment. I don't know where you're talking about, but there is a duplex that was built on California, farther down from Arlington. And I can't come up with the name of the woman, nor can I come up with the architect. It's the same one as built the Lear Theater that designed that. And it is a beautiful home.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if this is a home or if it's what it is now, but it's right across the street. It's right where, what's that street that is on the corner of California, Deluxe Travel?
Unfortunately, I don't know where Deluxe Travel is.
You know where Newman's is? The deli?
Oh, there.
Right across the street from that.
That's the lead. Isn't that Sundance Books?
No, it's towards more towards Virginia Street, where the bank is. It's beyond the bank, though, on California. Anyway,
I'll have to look.
That's something that looks old to me, and I always wondered what was the original use of that building. That's the kind of questions I always have. You know, as I drive around Reno, I see an old building. I always say, "What? I wonder what that was in the beginning." Probably a lot of them downtown were casinos at one time, and then they repurposed them for something else. What was that building that Patagonia just went in down there? Was that some of your efforts there too?
No,
No.
that was Patagonia and the people doing the downtown post office.
Okay.
Really making an effort to restore downtown.
Yeah, very much so. It's a totally different look down there right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, a lot of great work done by you and a lot of the walking tours. And then you're also involved with the Nevada Historical Society.
Well, let me say a little bit more about
Sure.
what we're doing. We've got programs that we give once a month during the winter months for
Okay.
for harps.
Okay.
So October, November, January through April.
All right.
We have a presentation on Sunday at 12:30 in the downtown library.
Okay. Oh, in the downtown.
It's free.
Okay.
So it's a speaker on history.
All right.
And we may actually get our Wednesday night programs together again. A lot of people miss those. We'd
Yeah.
like to do them again.
Yeah, these different lectures are fabulous. We used to do them up, we suspended them for the summer months, but we, in the wintertime, do lectures up in Virginia City
Yes.
at the Silverland Inn and Suites.
Yeah.
And we always get a great crowd.
People like that.
It's amazing, you know, they want to know. So,
Yeah. And also, we have a home tour coming up.
okay. Ooh.
And where with walking tours, you're outside the houses.
Yeah.
We have for our home tour this year, we have 6 homes.
Oh, 6 homes.
We have 2 in the south area, one on Urban, one on Greenfield.
Okay.
We have 2 on Manor,
All right.
and that's in the
Newlands.
area,
Yeah.
and we have one on California that also is considered Newlands.
Yeah, you get great crowds for that.
And then we have one way out Mayberry, which was Old Verdi Road.
Okay. Now, how do they get signed up? Is it you just walk in?
They can walk into about 8 different local stores.
Okay.
Sundance is one, for instance.
Sure.
Or they can go online.
Okay.
And they can buy the tickets online.
All
It's
right.
$30 in advance.
Uh-huh.
$35 the day of the event.
All right.
And it's Saturday, September 23rd, and
Good
it
time of
runs
year.
from 10 to 3.
Wonderful. I did that 2 years ago when this house
Yes.
was on the
and
tour.
I was in the library
Here in the
back in there.
library, yeah. And boy, did we have some curiosity about this place.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, right now we're sitting and doing the show in the pool room of the Marshall Mansion, as people might not know, and it's a $4 million room, and took 2.5 years to build it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Isn't
Love
it
the
gorgeous?
leaded
Yeah.
glass ceiling.
Yeah, for sure. And this all is part of the Marshall's renovation of the original house. So we always love coming in here to do the show every week. Anyway, we got to take a break. We'll come back for our last segment of Old Tales in Nevada. So stay tuned. We got a lot more information to give you about the sesquicentennial of Reno, Nevada. So stay tuned.
You have got to come and see our bridal designer collection here at Precision Diamonds. We bought our building, lower the overhead. That means everyday low prices to you.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
Hi, I'm Hugh Roy Marshall from the Marshall Men, Virginia City and Reno, Nevada. Come to introduce you to the Let 'em Run Wild Horse Mustang series. Wish to picks the Wild Mustangs herd running free, mare at its foal, the Wild Mustangs fighting for love. These ingots are a limited edition double struck product on 1 troy ounce 3 pine silver and are only available at the Marshall Mint, Virginia City or Reno, Nevada. Get your piece of history today.
Buy Nevada First Gift Shop and Visitor Center at the Reno Town Mall is the place to buy local Nevada-owned products. There is over 4,000 square feet of unique items to choose from. Art, jewelry, books, music, inventions, clothing, candy, pottery, toys, even Nevada-made wine and more. Why, you can even purchase a gift basket full of Nevada-owned products. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop located at the Reno Town Mall, 4001 Virginia Street in Reno. Buy local first.
Boutique Elegante presents a beautiful collection of summer fashions for every occasion. A day at the lake, a tropical holiday, patio parties, or special dinners. You'll find the perfect ensemble, add jewelry and accessories, and you're set to go. All at Boutique Elegante.
You have got to come and see our bridal designer collection here at Precision Diamonds. We bought our building, lower the overhead. That means everyday low prices to you.
Somewhere in Time is the place to find what will be treasured for all time. A store full of the unexpected, with a large selection of beer and sports memorabilia, vintage toys, casino and brothel memorabilia, vent and glassware, Disney collectibles, historic comic books, jewelry, a great selection of vintage neon, new and enlarged collections throughout the store. Have fun with the whole family. Check out all the inventory in the store. Find the unexpected that will be treasured for all time at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia in Reno.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle. We're the biker's bike shop.
You have got to come and see our bridal designer collection here at Precision Diamonds.
We're back here on Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. It's actually our last segment of the show. It goes by fast when we're talking about the history of Reno with Carol Coleman, who is president of HARPS. And tell us what HARPS represents again.
Historic Reno Preservation Society.
Yeah, no A in there. It's HRPS.
That's right.
Okay. So don't put that in the... and you have a website, right?
We do. It's called historicreno.org.
Okay, very good. And people... after hearing about all the things you are doing and some of the great benefits of doing it, learning about Reno and Northern Nevada, they may want to become part of your organization, part of that 800. They can come and be active as they want to be.
Yes.
Is there a cost to be part of the organization or what?
There is an individual membership. There is a student membership. Student is $15.
Okay.
Individuals $25. Families $45.
All right.
And of course, you can support us with other amounts.
Sure.
There's an application in the quarterly that we put out called Footprints.
Okay.
Plus, there are 15 other pages with articles of interest to anyone interested in history or historic preservation.
So you get that on a regular basis.
This is mailed to you.
All right.
You can also go online, historicreno.org, and you can join there.
Okay.
if you like.
Very good. Now, do you have to do an application, background check, anything like that?
Well, we don't exactly check your background.
Okay.
No. You need to have a name and address, or alternately a name and an email.
Okay, so it's pretty simple.
Yes.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah.
So now the 150th is on right now. It started in May of this year. It runs all the way
May
through
9th.
May 9th, and it runs through May 9th
of 2018.
2018.
It's easier to say 1868.
Yeah, we're remembering 1868, which was the inauguration of Reno, and a lot of events taking place between now and then.
Yes.
The city, I know, is involved in a couple of big events.
Yes. And a big one on May 9th, 2018.
Yeah, that's the big
also.
grand finale.
Yes, right.
But in between, there's some sort of Hispanic event that they're involved with.
And actually, if you go to Reno 150 online, Reno 150 events, it lists the events they have coming up.
Right.
And if you have a Reno 150 event, you can also have it listed on their site. So our walking tours, for instance, for HARPS have been listed there all summer long.
Right, that's fabulous.
The Lake Mansion tours are listed on that.
Yeah, great tour. We did that walking tour with the director, what's her name?
Mary Ellen Horan.
Mary Ellen, yeah, she was fabulous. Very good about letting us in there. And they do so much good for the community, actually. But I thought that was kind of a great invitation from the city, that if you have an event that you want to put on, and it could be a nonprofit or it could be for-profit, I guess, as long as it fits the theme and it's a good thing to do. We could, who knows? We may have a new event that would be here forever, like Hot August Nights. That was just somebody's brainstorm. In fact, Jim Webster, our sidekick here, he's one of the founders of that event.
Is that right?
Yeah, and it was a nonprofit thing for the Easter Seals or something like that.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, that was back in 86, 85, something like that. Yeah, and then look at it now.
Yes.
So use your imagination, right? And bring it to the city, and if the city feels good about it, they'll let you do it. Yep. In fact, they might even help you with
Actually,
it, right?
they'll list it.
They'll list it.
They'll list it for you.
But don't they get involved with closing off streets and this, that, and the other thing too?
If you need that.
If you need that, of course, there's probably a charge for all of that kind of thing.
Somebody's going to pay.
Really, but at least the city is getting behind it, and I think this is another step forward for Reno to. Take better care of their history. There's been your group, and there's been a community of history buffs in town.
Yes.
But now we have a chance for the entire community to become more top of mind about it. So I think that's fabulous, you know. So you're pretty tied in with the 150.
Yes.
You know all the people involved.
Doing a lot of things. The Historical Society is going to be offering programs about Reno's history.
Oh, wonderful.
Those you can check on the website. If you go in and get your email listed, you'll be sent all the information.
All the information, yeah.
And you don't have to join to get your email listed.
Okay.
If you want to go on a tour there, it's $5 if you're a non-member. If you're a member, it's free.
Yeah.
And the Reno room is set up with a lot of Reno's history showing. And you could ask for a special tour if you call in advance.
Yeah, we've been up there 2-3 times with the show, and it's so much fun to go in there with somebody who has the knowledge of that machine or that piece of artifact, and they can tell you the whole story. It really draws you in. And you can spend easily a couple hours in the museum up there. And they also have the retail shop.
That is now a bookstore.
Oh, that's a bookstore. But there's no taxes paid if you go in there and buy it.
No taxes.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So you get a discount to start with.
Yeah.
And there's also the research library. If you really want to get nitty-gritty in information, the research librarian will help you find things there.
So if you want to go talk about our show or learn about somebody on our show, because we've had some people who are no longer with us, actually, have died over the years, but they've been recorded orally and video-wise on Old Tales of Nevada. So you can go in there and say, I want to see the show dealing with so-and-so, and they'll pull it up for you.
And they actually have a new website. It's called nvhistorical.org.
Okay.
Much easier to remember than the last one they had. And I want to mention newcomers.
Okay.
If you have had a life-changing event, as in you moved here, that would be expected.
Yeah.
But if you are divorced, widowed, retired, typically you're about 50 or older. You can join. I believe it is $30 still. It could be. It's gone. I think it's gone to $35.
$35. Still reasonable.
I'm an honorary member, having been president for a couple of years, so I don't. Yes. So you have access to 60 activity groups.
Wow.
It's mostly social, but then you have a group like Learn About Nevada, and you can go to any group you want to go to once you join.
So being in the newcomers club, are you the ones that took the chocolate chip cookies and the apple pies to the people that moved in? They don't do that anymore.
What was that?
I don't know.
Welcome Wagon.
Welcome Wagon, yeah.
Welcome Wagon became newcomers, so it could include widowed, retired, divorced, so it could include other people.
Okay, very good, yeah.
Also in town, there's a group called OLLI, Osher Lifelong Learning Institute.
Okay.
And that is $45 to join. You can go for free for a few times.
Yeah.
And they have from September to May, 3 lectures a day, probably Monday through Friday. They have tours.
Wonderful.
And that's another place where you can look at the history section.
Yeah.
You can look at the art section. You can see what you would like to find out. And there's a lot on Reno in that.
So there's no reason to stay home.
No.
And watch Oprah. Oprah's not on anymore. Or The View or any of those. You get out and do something.
There's things.
I think that's the best part about Reno is, it's so easy to get around here. I mean, we're talking, 15 minutes from home.
This is not like L.A. and San Francisco.
Exactly.
This is a lot easier.
And you can be right in the middle of a historical site within a few minutes and learn so much.
Yes.
And it really enjoy the ambiance of Reno. It really brings us pride to be here. We're such an important city.
We are.
With
and we're taking care of ourselves, too.
Yeah, we are taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
We've had such great visionaries here in Reno, I think, Some of those people have had the big mansions up on the hill.
Yes.
Where business people, millionaires, came to town and did something great for the community. And now, through foundations, have started to give back.
Support a lot of things.
Yeah.
I also want to mention a smartphone app that's also a website.
Sure.
It's called Reno Historical.
Okay.
And Alicia Barber was the founder of it, but there's cooperation with HARPS, with the Historical Society, with special collections. Lots of people and organizations cooperate. And it's historical is a software framework that a lot of cities are using, but Reno Historical is about Reno.
Okay.
And on the website, you can get lots of history. You can even get into the divorce era through it,
right,
and find out all of the divorce papers and things that were out there. But you can look on your smartphone, and you can have walking tours, self-guided walking tours.
Oh, nice.
So you could tour 4th Street. You could find out what the buildings are.
Oh.
You could tour downtown.
Didn't know that.
You could tour the downtown churches.
Okay.
It's really worth getting.
Sure.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah.
And it's available iPhone and Android both.
Wow.
It's not Windows phones, but Android.
Android, was my favorite thing.
Okay. And you can look at a map of downtown. It has like push pins.
Oh.
And you push on the push pin,
yeah,
and it tells you what the building is.
Holy moly,
so
that's really good.
So while you are walking around...
How long has that been available?
I'm probably going to not have this right, but 3 years,
3
perhaps.
years. That's the first time I heard of that, actually.
Well,
so we're going to look into that.
You need to have it.
Yeah,
you really do.
I'll carry it around my car and hit the push pin. Okay, what happened on this corner? What happened?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's great. That's great. Well, listen, we really appreciate you, being here and telling us about all these different ways in which we can find out about Reno, like your book reflected on. And if you really get into it, it's quite the story.
There's a lot to find.
It's quite the story, yeah. And like I was saying, it's such an important part of the United States history as well. The Comstock even helped finance the Civil War.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's how important we are, really.
Yeah.
And the Carson City Mint, if you can get coins out of that Carson City Mint era, those coins are some of the most valuable in the world. They really are.
And they actually do mint a coin on the last Friday of the month.
Well, they actually do.
Yes, if you go down there for a tour.
Yeah, that's a great museum to go through as well. Very, very well done. And you can get guided tours and everything else there as well. So get out and enjoy Reno now and then, like Neil Cobb. Neil used to be part of our crew here.
I was on the show with
That's right.
With you guys.
In fact, that's where we first met you. You've been on the show, 3 times now?
I was on when it was radio.
That's right. That's right. We went to radio.
Go back that far.
Thank you so much for being with us,
Glad
Carol.
to be here.
Look forward to taking part in some of your activities as well. And we want to thank the audience for being with us today. They're with us every week, and we appreciate that. We want to invite you back next week for another episode of Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We'll see you then. In the meantime, have a great Nevada day.